Hey guys, welcome back to Spiderman. I had to take a break last time. That ended up being yesterday, so I'm back now. What was I gonna say? I got a good hour to play. I wanted to play a little bit longer, but maybe I'll come back to it later today. Let's see. Did I get all the backpacks? I remember there was. Okay, let's get all the backpacks, and then we'll start doing missions again.
I understand we have another low-information caller who thinks we're better off thanks to Spiderman. Let's see if I can set her straight. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
I just want to say that I've never seen Manhattan so safe and peaceful. Compare what it was like when Spider-Man first showed up to now.
Okay, fair enough, I will. Then, we had police and firefighters doing a wonderful job. There was crime, sure, but nothing they couldn't handle. Of course, we do have things now we didn't have then. Maniacs who shoot electricity out of their eyes, walking piles of sand, Nazis made of bees!
Didn't Spider-Man put all those guys in jail?
You're missing the point! They didn't exist before he came along. At best, he attracts them. But I've often wondered if they're in cahoots.
Wow, I've never actually heard anyone say cahoots before. Look, all I'm saying is, I'd hate to imagine what would have happened if all those guys showed up and Spider-Man wasn't here.
Another lost cause. Goodbye.
In a lot of the story and in a lot of these games, it's so hard to imagine anybody like J. Jonah Jameson who just vehemently hates a thing no matter how good it is. I don't get it.
Only cowards assault a helpless person like that. Try hitting me. Spoiler, I hit back.
I hate this bullpen. Jesus. There we go. There's that one.
Love laying out pulleys.
If you hear something shaking in the background, it's just my controller. I'm only saying that because it is kind of loud. Speaking of which, that's the only, like, this is the first part, the first third-party controller
10-10, witness called in an active drug deal. Officers needed
that,
escort.
I've, like, extremely liked. There's always some con with most controllers, and I guess this one does have one, but it's not major, it's just, like, a way they designed the controller that I don't like. It's more of a personal preference type of thing. I have a controller called King Kong 2 or Kong 2 or something. It's made by a company called Ghoulie Kit. I got it months and months ago, back when it came out. And what kind of prompted that was I keep breaking analog sticks. It doesn't matter, like not the stem of the analog stick, but just the motor or the potentiometer inside the analog stick that makes it work. The little metal that scrapes on metal, that piece I just keep breaking off. It like breaks apart internally. I've taken apart a couple controllers just to see what I'm doing. And I don't know if it's the pressure I exert on analog sticks or what. But this is the first controller to last a couple months and withstand my
What's that feeling? Do I
aggressive grip, I guess.
No.
So yeah, what ends up happening is they wear out somehow. They either wear out or break. And the thing to understand about potentiometers is all they really are at the end of the day is a piece of metal moving up against another piece of metal. And
10:30, active robbery
one of the
in
pieces
progress.
of metal
Available
is
officers,
acts like a
on
wedge. At one area of the metal, it's thicker, and at one area of the metal, it's not as thick, and it sweeps across that one piece of metal sweeps across the other piece of metal, and that's how a potentiometer works. Electricity is sent through it, and as the resistance changes, as the piece gets thicker or shorter, it reads a different voltage or a different ohm. And that's how the controller
We have a report of a break-in in progress.
detects where your analog stick is.
Please copy.
I'm sure there's a lot better explanation, but that's the explanation I've always used. It's hard to understand without a graphic of a simple wedge in a piece of metal and voltage readings on a multimeter. But it's how it picks out where the axes are when you rotate your stick. There's two of those built into both sticks. Those are called potentiometers. Potentiometers suck because they have a finite life no matter what you do. Like anything else, but more so with them because since it's metal on metal, no matter how much grease you add to that, it's going to wear down. Because you're changing thickness of something against something else constantly. Even if it's micro amounts of difference. Whereas something like magnets, well, eventually the polarity of the magnets will run out just by nature. I'm sure there's a whole theory on how that works scientifically, but the point is to know that it takes a very long time for that to happen, like an incredibly long time. And the idea behind magnetic analog sticks is that sorry, one sec. Behind the magnetic analog sticks is that they're not actually touching. They work like potentiometers, but they're not actually touching each other. So the wear that they experience is just natural decay. It's not anything that's going to happen over time from you using it. There's a sensor on one side, and then the magnet on the other side, where the magnet's moving around attached to a joint on the stick, and it's moving around. And how it tells where the analog stick is, it's the magnetic force that gets exerted against the other side, or the polarity or the pull that gets exerted, and that's how it knows the software in your controller or the software on your computer or a console. That's how it knows exactly what the position of the stick is. The benefit to that is it's not touching anything. So the analog stick, other than physically the plastic wearing out or something along those lines, it shouldn't ever wear out.
Spider emergency.
And it also shouldn't ever really drift because it'll always end up dead center. If another magnet is used as dead center with these sticks, I think it's just a spring that's used as dead center, so it will still eventually wear out. But the actual sensor itself will take so much time for it to wear out. Instead of potentiometer, the actual terminology for something like that, a magnet moving against another magnet and it determining how much the magnetic field or the pull of force, one of the two, it's called a Hall effect sensor. So there's Hall effect sensors built into this controller. And to get back to my point, it will take a magnitude of time. Like a very, very much longer time for these analog sticks to wear out than the average controller. That's why I bought it. It was a little bit more expensive, but the analog sticks themselves are technology that's not really used too much in any other controller. It was used in the PS3 controllers in a different way. A more spaced out and less complicated way. But these are the first ones to have the same exact profile and the same exact accuracy as the regular potentiometer analog stick, but also be just as compact, so it can fit in all the places a normal analog stick would fit, which is amazing. That's exactly what you want, because it can be a direct replacement,
Spiderman protects.
and it can be better at the same time. The other thing that's amazing about magnets is, instead of you having to rely on the granularity of differences in metal thickness rubbing against another piece of metal, and that generating different resistances and different voltages for the controller to pick up on to determine where your stick is moving, since it can rely on magnetism instead, magnetism, I don't want to say it's infinitely adjustable, but there's so many points, so much data you can get out of magnets in terms of pull and fields, that it becomes a lot more granular. So when you're moving a controller analog stick,
Shocker's loose again.
there's a lot of potential there that you can get an analog stick that's I mean, games, at least now, games are not going to use it like that. Maybe racing games will. That's the only thing I can think of. Something where you steer. It has a lot of, like, a very high amount of granularity. And this is the Avengers building. Or a Avengers building? I don't know. Can I...
Avengers Tower is so cool, but they're never around to use it. I think they're probably somewhere on the West Coast right
the
now.
triggers
Probably surfing or something.
on some controllers now are going the same way, where they're Hall effect sensors instead of it being whatever it was before, which I think it might have been just a button. The reason for that is they have an access, meaning as you press down on them, it has to detect your slightest touch. And then as you press down on them more and more, it counts as 100%.
What you probably didn't hear
For like
from
racing
our
games and
sources
stuff like that, you know, when you
is
hit the
that
gas pedal,
purple
you get,
were wearing masks.
you want like 10%, or you want 50%, or you want 100%.
Yet another
So,
example of the explosion
analog
of
sticks are
criminals
kind of the same way. They have
Spider-Man came on
the older ones had a like a potentiometer, and now the newer ones are starting to come out with magnets, and they just move that over to analog sticks. The company that made this controller is called Ghoulie Kit, and I was very apprehensive of buying their controller because there weren't any reviews for this controller. Apparently it was brand new at the time. It was like within a week of it coming out.
I know all I need to about
And the only con I have about it that I don't like is the D-pad is not the best. And that's maybe personal preference, but when I'm playing games that rely on a D-pad, I like flat D-pads so I can just curl my thumb over. This is hard because it's kind of indented, just like the normal Xbox controllers are, where the center of the D-pad is down further than the edges, and that keeps your thumb in. So I understand the use case for it, but when you play a lot of 16 or 8-bit or just 2D classic games that rely on a D-pad to move around instead, I don't know, it kind of gets tiresome. For the same reason why potentiometers don't work that well, your thumb moving over a plane that could have been flat, but that's kind of wedged, like this D-pad. It's tiring. Eventually your thumb starts to get like sore. That's the only con I have about this controller. And again, that might just be a personal preference, but that's how I reason why I don't like it. Everything else about this controller, yeah, there's gaps in areas where I think the plastic could have been a little tighter. Like in the back, there the R and the L shoulder buttons, and the R, I'm gonna call them R2 and L2, um, analog buttons. Those could have been built with tighter tolerances, but I'm assuming there's a reason why they did that. Maybe it's to not interfere, or maybe it's because they found that in their study, gunk gets caught up in between those buttons, and it's better just to have more tolerance there, so that gunk doesn't get caught up in it and it doesn't read wrong. I don't know, but I'm sure they've done study. Generally speaking, they have to in order to figure out. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I'll leave that for later. I don't know if I have to swim or what. But yeah. This controller was $70 USD when I bought it a couple months ago. And so far it's been the best controller as far as like sensitivity goes. It's been the best controller I've used since maybe the PS3 analog sticks, which by the way were Hall effect sensors, which makes sense why they were good. And that PS3 came out in like 2006. It's just the controller was kind of small. I have small hands, it never bothered me. But the PS3 controller is kind of small. This controller is designed for mainly a Switch, but it can be used on Android, Windows, or Switch. And it has a button at the top, so I just hit the button. It also has lights for 4 different people if 4 different people ever, get together and use it. I'm sure that's some standardization that they have to have for Switch. So I've had the 8BitDo Pro 2 controller. It broke. Like within a month, it was broken. The quality of the controller itself is not bad. In fact, the D-pad's a lot better than this one. And most of the buttons held up just fine. It was the analog sticks again that broke because
This tower.
not to call out just one company, but they're the biggest they're the biggest player right now. Alps, they make just potentiometer, or as far as I can see, they make just potentiometer analog sticks. And every single one that uses an Alps analog stick has been garbage. Every single one. It's broken within a month. And it came out at some point. There was some study. It was only a 1 of 1. So it wasn't like a very big study, if you even call it a study. But it was like, I don't remember the exact figure, but it was something along the lines of, if you're playing, like if you're an average player in a shooter, they don't expect the analog sticks to last more than like 4,000 hours or something along those lines. It might even been less. It was probably a lot less than that, because there was kind of, I remember when people heard that, they were kind of like, really? But yeah, Alps wouldn't certify the analog sticks for more than, I think it was like 400 hours or something. So your controller has a lifespan of basically 400 hours just because the analog sticks won't work after that, is the way I took that. So every controller that you buy, be prepared to spend another 50, 60 bucks every 400 hours. That's ridiculous. That's just creating garbage. So you shouldn't solder analog sticks in then if it's only going to last you 400 hours. Because 400 hours of game time, I mean, this game's probably going to last 30, 40 hours. So that's 10 games. The average game isn't that long, sure, but that's just creating more waste and more garbage in the landfill. That's not good. I'm sure they're refining their technologies, making them better, whatever they want to, say, talk about. That's fine and dandy. I'm not upset at particularly their company or anything. But that's not good, and that's where a company like Ghoulie Kit or whatever other company is going to also do this makes analog sticks that are magnetic that don't have that problem. So the rest of the controller can survive longer because one of the critical components doesn't break. And it's true that you can resolder analog sticks to a controller. However, you have to have knowledge of how to solder, and you also have time and patience and the tools to do it. So there's not many people that are gonna go out and buy analog sticks. And the other thing, you have to have the same exact part. You might even have to somehow calibrate the analog stick. So that's a problem. Your average person not going to be able to do all that. Even somebody with the tools might not be able to do all that. So that's a problem. So the way to fix the problem is either make modular components for the things that break often, or I think Razer actually tried to do that. Could be wrong. Or you make a control of just parts that last longer.
Great. Forgot how much I...
And Ghoulie Kid decided to make parts that last longer. Simple as that. And because of their efforts in trying to make the parts last longer, they also technically made them more accurate. There's a mode on this controller where I think it's like Sniper or something. You can enable 0 dead zone. And while I don't know if it's 100% 0 dead zone, it's incredibly close to 0. It's remarkable how close to dead zone the sticks can get. It's definitely more than even... Wow, this guy's moving fast. Holy crap. What... But yeah, the dead zone on these analog sticks are ridiculous. So these are the guys, or this is the company that makes, because of the success of their controller, and probably their experiments on Hall effect sensors. Did I not get it? I think I got it. They also make modules for the Steam Deck now.
I guess this is what they call organized crime.
For I think it's around 30 bucks, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. $30 USD. They make replacement analog sticks for the Steam Deck, which is nuts. But it's a drop-in replacement. You unscrew the... I've seen the repair videos. You literally just unscrew the back of the Steam Deck. You unscrew the you take out the ribbon cable. You unscrew each module. You put each module in. And you put back the cover on the Steam Deck. There are some dead zone issues that Steam is working on supporting. But it's an issue more along the lines with their software, not so much the hardware of the analog sticks. And Steam is... I don't know if you guys have seen the amount of updates Steam gets on the... like, Steam puts out for the Steam Deck, but it's ridiculous. It's like every month there's at least 15 updates for the Steam Deck. And maybe at some point that will calm down, but they're constantly developing that system to a ridiculous degree. So I don't doubt that eventually they'll have something for that. They might have already fixed it by now. Can I not focus bar these enemies? Can I not? Can I grab something? Is anything around for me to... Can I take this car window? Can I take the door? Can I take something and just smack it into them, please? I only get like one kick in and then he punches me and it's like a good chunk of my health. There we go. It's just, I can deal with one of these guys, but two of them is just kind of hard because you gotta bounce between the two. I'm sure there's a better way to handle them. There.
Do auto insurers offer a webbing?
But yeah, sorry I went off on a tangent, but I play a lot of video games,
Just waiting to happen.
like, since I was a kid. I'm almost 30 now. I've played a lot of video games, and there's certain things, the tools that you use to play a game,
Nailed it.
help your experience with the game, or they influence your experience with the game. So if you have crappy tools that you're using to play and do your hobby, or do whatever, you're going to have a crappy experience. It's pretty simple to understand, right? So I don't want a crappy controller. I don't want a controller that breaks every month.
If I do say so myself.
I could accuse PlayStation and Microsoft for doing this too. Both their controllers have the same exact problem. It's not 8-bit Do's problem. It's just they all use the same Alps sticks. Even the Elite controllers, the ones, you know, that cost 150 bucks or more, they use these stupid sticks. And I'm sorry, Alps, but they're garbage. If you don't want me to call them garbage, make better ones. Ghoulie Kit did. And they weren't even in the game before. Are they just, oh, they're fleeing. I need to catch them. Okay. I haven't encountered this one yet, where they actually flee. So one of the thugs, that's too bad. I'll get it next time. But yeah, so yeah, just, if you want people to stop complaining about your product, make a better product. Or educate the user, one of the two. If you've already educated us, told us how long they last, I have to go look up the number figure again. But it wasn't satisfactory. I remember that much. Yeah, either make them better or educate us, and you already educated us. We didn't like the results. So, or at least I didn't. So, make a better one. Doesn't matter how much it costs, just make a better one. Eventually the cost will come down. Does that take years and tooling and all that garbage? Yes. Yes, it does. It takes a long time to get all that squared away. Not to mention the R&D into it. However, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and somebody else is going to be better than you. And then you're going to have competition that you can't match. Happens all the time in every other industry ever. Ghoulie Kit, I don't praise them or anything, it's just they make a better product. So I'm going to use that better product, and I'm going to tell everybody about that better product. Because a game like this, I don't want to play with a mouse and keyboard. I would never want to play this game with a mouse and keyboard. It was designed for a console, meaning it was designed for a controller. I need a good controller to use. The only thing I'm missing out on here is Sony's proprietary PlayStation controller, actuator, R2 and L2 BS. It's cool, it's innovative, but at the same time, I think it makes the controller last like 2 hours or something. And maybe, and the other thing is, this controller works with PC because it just emulates an Xbox controller. I don't think the PS5 controller does that. This just works on every game that has controller support, because all the controller support is baked into Direct. I think it's baked into DirectX or DirectX 12. And that's what the games use to actually function most of the time. To actually play. So this just works on almost every game. I don't think the PlayStation 5 controller does that. I know the PS4 one didn't, and the PS3 one definitely didn't. You had to use a different program for the PS3 controller. And the PS4 controller always had issues. So I've tried a lot of them. I haven't tried every controller out there, obviously. But I've tried at least 15 controllers in the past 5 years. That's how much money I've spent on controllers. Anywhere from $40 to $70 on controllers. And I've used friends' controllers that cost like 200 bucks. I've even gone to the length to take them apart and put them back together just to see what kind of components are used. And half the time, not all the time, but half the time, it's the same components used in a $60 controller or a $70 controller or a $40 controller. So is it worth buying controllers that are incredibly highly priced? Not unless they can prove that their components that they're using aren't normal components in a controller.
Empire State University.
You're
The
probably
old
just getting
alma
ripped
mater.
off.
And holder.
Not all of them, but a lot of them. You're probably just getting ripped off. Keyboards and mice are the same way. It's just I don't have the level of gameplay with a keyboard or mouse that I do with a controller, because I grew up on PlayStation 1, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1.
Show a rash of break-ins recently. The victim of one of them is here with us now. What happened, ma'am?
Well, my business was broken into. A flower shop. Who breaks into a flower shop? I was cleaned out. I couldn't believe it. I thought the area was safe. I see Spider-Man around all the time.
My dear, you learned the hard way the sad truth about Spider-Man. He only cares about the glory. Something as...
Let's see. Oh, there's one up here I missed.
Forgive me for saying
but
that
yeah.
break-in and robbery is beneath his
So that's why I
Do
use
not
this
rely
controller.
on him to keep your property safe. The
Sorry
only
for the
thing
long
he
tangent, but
values
that
his
is
own
why I
massive
use it.
ego.
So I think it's called the King Kong 2 or King Pro Kong 2. On Amazon, it says controller with no stick drift, and the reason why they put that in the title is because I think I've seen Xbox controller, PlayStation 5 controller, and the Nintendo Switch controllers, all with stick drift issues.
All units, we have a
You want to take a guess as to why?
assistance needed on scene.
They all go through the same exact company to buy their analog sticks. Alps. So yeah. It's a pretty obvious reason why. Again, Alps is a brand. I don't really have a problem with the brand. It's just the product, the analog sticks you make. There's a reason why all these analog sticks don't work after a long period of time, or even after some time. And there's a reason why these ones made by Ghoulie Kit have lasted me over 4 months, or 3.5 months now. So yeah. The longest lasting controller I've had in the past 5 years, I want to say, was the PS3 controller. And I used like software on my computer to extend that controller's life. I replaced the batteries twice in that controller. And yes, it had rechargeable batteries. That was when you used Micro B, I think it was, or Mini, one of the two. I always get confused between Micro and Mini. You used, maybe it was Mini. I think it might have been Mini. You used Mini B to charge your controller. USB Mini B. Oh, this is Doctor Strange. I guess they're all in New York, and I just didn't bother to look it up.
Cool window, but I always get the feeling something strange is going on in that place.
Yep. So yeah, I just wish it's not just Alps, it's other companies too. I just wish companies who made products and people like were dissatisfied with the quality of those products to a high level, to a high degree. I wish those companies actually did something. And maybe they are doing, like maybe Alps is doing something about it. Maybe they're conducting research, they're getting R&D together. Maybe they're doing something. It just, these have been out for a long time now. Like we're talking at least 5-6 years, these different these analog sticks. And maybe they've reiterated their designs, but they haven't really, in my humble opinion, haven't really improved. So I had to go with just a random manufacturer that I've never heard of and give it a go, because I can't trust the company to make decent analog sticks, even though it's used by,
loose again.
you know, the big three, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. But I think the reason why it's used by the big three is because they're cheap. You can go and get these analog sticks as just things to put in something else, like to solder on. You can get, I think I've seen you can get them for about 50 cents. So if it costs 50 cents to just get the part, you're relying on basically $1 worth of cost to make that controller last. Because once even just one analog stick goes, the controller is kind of dead. You can't fix these unless you resolder. So, and get new ones. So it goes to the landfill with their lithium, with the lithium battery and everything. So, you know, thanks for that.
Good shot.
It's not like they're made out of plastic and other non-reusable, like not reusable material as well. I don't know if the plastic's recyclable, but the I don't think the board. I think it's recyclable to a point. I just don't know if I don't know if companies are willing to go that far to recycle something like a controller.
Over here. Masked up.
Sorry, I've been going off on a tangent. It's just something I do while I'm playing a game, running around, not doing any real story. I'm sure mice and keyboards have similar stories, but I feel like keyboards have been sorted out by now. Their keys last what? Like if you get a mechanical one, their keys last what? 2 million presses? Something ridiculous. It's a ridiculous number. I've had my keyboard for 4 or 5 years now, and it's all the keys still work, but that doesn't mean that everybody's keyboard's going to be the same. I might have just gotten the one that was better. Who knows?
Got it.
I love how these these photos are very, very forgiving, because there's definitely times where I'm not getting the shot.
As I warned, Nostradamus-like, after Spider-Man recklessly took down Wilson Fisk without preparing for the consequences, our streets are now filled with aspiring gangsters.
So maybe I can get that island. I just need to take a picture from far away.
Sir, we're glad you're okay.
Oh, it's over here. So my only real complaint again is the D-pad is a little is a little weird. But I think I could get another D-pad, like just a plastic cover for the D-pad, unscrew it, put a different plastic cover on it, and it would be fine.
Forgive me for raising my voice. I'm emotional at the thought of what you went through. Jared, our caller seems shaken. Let's let him go.
I'm fine.
Goodbye.
Oh, I gotta take a picture, right? Gotta go from here, maybe. There we go.
Ooh, love that shot.
Here we go. But yeah, I've had a lot of personal struggle with friggin' controllers. It wasn't until like after PS3 came out, like that was the last good controller I had
1010. Witness called in an archive.
that didn't like break every couple months. This one's lasted so far 3.5 months, and there's nothing wrong with the analog sticks. Whereas most controllers I would use, there'd be something wrong by now. So, and like I said, about 15 in the past 5 years. So, take that for what you will. Again, I play a lot of video games, so my experience probably won't be the same as yours.
Chinatown. Touristy but fun.
But I just hate throwing away equipment constantly, and I hate having bad equipment. It doesn't matter what that equipment does. If it's equipment to do something that I want to do or I like, I want to have something that's at least decent. It doesn't have to be the best of everything. It just has to be decent. It just has to last. You know, right tool, right job. That's kind of how I go. I wouldn't play this game with a keyboard or mouse, even though my keyboard and mouse are fine. I would play it with a controller. I wouldn't play a racing game with a keyboard and mouse either. I play it with a controller.
Nearest officer, please respond. Reports are coming from the lower east side. Over.
Got an algorithm in the suit that can extrapolate where the kidnappers might have gone. I'll set my earpiece to focus on muffled voices.
It's over here. Maybe in this parking lot.
Someone help before the guys who did.
Hold on, I'll get you out.
Saw my whole life flash before my eyes. Thank you.
This game is actually really good.
Back. Don't let them hurt
I'm just
me.
doing this the side stuff that most people do at the end of the game now. And I'm still having fun with this. What just happened to my focus bar? Is that what my level up was? The bigger focus bar? Because that focus bar is now twice as big as it used to be.
You ain't so tough.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Almost. There we go.
I owe you my life, Spider.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll be satisfied with the with a controller, but even this controller is not perfect. But it's the closest I've gotten. I mean, I think this is actually better than the PS3 controller that I used to have. In fairness, the PS3 controller was, what, 18 years ago at this point? It lasted for like 8 years, though. It's the controller I always went back to when another one broke, and then when it finally went and I couldn't get another one, or I didn't want to like spend $30 on a controller on eBay that's been used for 8 years, and I just started buying them. Man, I spent a small fortune in controllers. It's ridiculous how much money I've just wasted in controllers. All that money could have been used to buy games, to buy parts for a computer, to buy a console, to like buy food. A lot of people are hurting on their rent right now. It could have been used for rent. Like, I mean, if you just take like 15 times 40 USD, so that's a decent amount of money. That over 5 years, man. Oh, there's the Avengers Tower. Oh, it's my goal as actually the Avengers Tower. Okay. How did they not pick up on Spider-Man if they have an Avengers Tower in New York? How did it take that many movies in to pick up on them? That's weird. A plot hole, I guess. I mean, I know Spider-Man's more of a small city enforcement kind of superhero. He's not really huge, but I mean, Superman only really, like, his main goal is Metropolis. He does help the world, obviously. It'd be kind of problematic if he didn't. I just got the achievement backpacker. Cool. What just happened? Okay. I should have unlocked the suit, too. No associate. Homemade suit. Oh, I know what this one's from. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm about to spoil something. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man 1 or Homecoming, the one with, oh, you can just change it and it won't reset anything. That's cool. The newer ones. If you haven't seen them yet, fast forward 5 minutes. So about to spoil something. This is the suit that he uses, which is just like a jersey with like cut off. Yeah, it's basically just a jersey in a long sleeve.
Get ready,
With
folks,
cut off arms.
because this is a bombshell.
He makes his own suit. He makes his own suit out of like regular material really quick. And
No, you've got it
because
all
I
wrong.
think Tony
My
Stark
husband
takes
kidnapped a
away his
criminal
Spider-Man
and
suit.
shoved him into the trunk of a car.
I could be wrong. And then his other one gets obliterated, like his original one. So he starts using this suit.
Pardon me, ma'am, I didn't hear that last part over my intern's utter incompetence. You realize, of course, that it's possible Spider-Man arranged the kidnapping so he could save your husband and grab all the glory?
Huh, that seems like a lot of trouble to go to when he could just stop actual crime.
It's clear we are at an impasse. My best to you and your husband, madam. Jared, go to commercial, then fire yourself. Then rehire yourself before the commercial ends. But no, your job hangs by a thread. If I paid you, I'd cut your salary in half.
I think that's what it is anyway. I don't know. Either that or it's just his first suit when he went out and. I need to watch these movies again. It's his first suit when he just went out for the first time. I don't quite remember. But generally speaking, origin story-wise, they all have hacky suits when they first go out into the world as superheroes. Because they're just trying to figure things out.
Hi, Herman.
Seriously? Give it up! You're never gonna catch me!
Doing? That's what you said last time.
Oh, he's using sound. Okay.
You'll just slow me down!
Wow, that's considerate. What's the money for, Herman?
Why do you care?
Actually, I don't. Just trying to make polite conversation.
I'm done talking!
But this could be so much more rewarding if we connected on an emotional level. Wait, I forgot. You don't have emotions. Come on.
There we go.
Gotcha. Now let's talk.
I said I'm done talking!
Noted. Honestly, Herman, why are you robbing again? You know the police are watching your every move. I mean, we all know you're kind of dumb, but I didn't think you were this dumb. You must be desperate, which means you're not just stealing for yourself. You must be working with someone, or for someone. You can tell me who it is now, or make me punch it out of you later. Your choice.
Said enough!
I can tell this is scripted, by the way.
Move, move, move!
You dodge in the air. That's cool. I didn't know that. Oh, maybe it's not scripted. Maybe it just runs on a loop until you get them.
You know what, Herman? You have like zero personality, but your suit is awesome. Can we talk design details? Maybe later.
Good work, Spider-Man. Did you learn anything about his motive?
I tried, but he's not very talkative. Plus, I think he hates me.
You have that effect on a lot of people.
But you love me, right, Yuri?
I tolerate you.
Wow. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Is there any other Spider Bro arms race? I need to do some research. I don't really want to do... What are these stars? Oh, these stars are ones I could probably make, right? Yeah. Leap into the air and web everything in sight. That's kind of cool. I might as well do some of these. So if I unlock the suit power, can I use a different suit and then mix and match? Is that a thing? Like, can I just be Noir or whatever this is? And then just, yes, I can. Nice. Alright, so I can actually use whatever suit I want and just put whatever power I want on it. Stealth suit. Upgraded suit. Future. Bombastic. That's cool. I like that. It's kind of cartoony for the game aesthetics, but you know what? It probably come from a cartoon. That's probably why. Suit power. What should I choose? Battle focus, which ups my focus meter. Web blossom, which webs everything. If it webs everything in sight, though, does it actually take them out, or does it just stun them all? I think it just stuns them all. Noir suit. Wait, was it color? Is it always in black and white? Okay, it goes in black and white whenever you do the ability. Hollow decoy. Let's see what that looks like. That's kind of nice. It takes the edge off you. Which is exactly what I need for those big guys. Is I need the suit to take the edge off me so I can just fight one-on-one. Yeah. Ooh. A bunch of new stuff. Alright. So, Battletech. Gadget attacks generate focus. That's cool, I guess. Reduces incoming melee damage. That's always nice to have. Increase the range on your AR scanner to show items further away. And at this point, I've done so much, I don't think I'm gonna really need that. Increases XP from defeating enemies. I might just go for that. Perfect dodge temporary increases damage. That sounds good. I dodge a lot. Enemies take longer to detect you in stealth. Reduces incoming bullet damage. I do get hit quite a bit. And then these need challenge or research tokens. Reduces the effect of flashbangs and stun grenades. That's whatever. Web attacks generate more focus. Interesting. So it's just trying to match how you play. If you match how you play, you can get more out of it. I'm gonna do ballistic defense. Well, it's either ballistic defense or melee. I do get hit more often than I... maybe melee. Let's do melee. That looks cool, though. I like it. Got another gadget. Discharge sonic pulse waves that send enemies flying. So every time I take out a major enemy with... I guess... I get their ability in some way. I get part of their ability in some way, something along those lines. So I need base and research tokens. I got a skill point. So down toward the end of the tree, apparently the skills cost more. I like that. All right. I'm gonna keep doing story for now, I guess, because I want to unlock more side missions. You see how on the left-hand side of the financial district, those are all locked. I don't know if those are story or side. I think most of those are side. Maybe not side missions so much. The side quests, I guess, because it actually does tell me, on some of them, how many side missions there are. It looks like there might be a side mission in each area. They don't have much in here because it's just a park and, you know, trees, and Spider-Man needs cities. He needs tall structures to actually do anything with.
Looks like I got some free time. Maybe now's a good time to look into that mask. Oh, it's MJ. Hey, MJ. You're up late.
Just catching up on the news. Looks like you had quite an adventure with Shocker tonight.
Yeah, he was unusually combative. Anyway, thanks again for dinner. What do I owe you?
How about a favor? You still have that mask from the gallery?
Yeah, I'm actually on my way to the Feast Center now to ask Martin Lee about it.
Martin Lee? Why?
He has a degree in art history. If anyone knows about the origins of that mask, he will.
Just keep me in the loop. Like I said, I think there's a bigger story here, and I plan to be the one to break it.
Sure. So I can call you, like, whenever?
Yeah, whenever, whatever.
So I guess we're talking again. Cool.
I don't like MJ in the series. She just feels like...
All units, report of a chase in progress. Incident is
Almost
active in
morning.
Dutchtown.
Mr. Lee will be here soon. I could use a snack.
I'll stay quiet for a sec.
Mr. Lee's usually in his office now.
Peter, what can I do for you?
I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Lee. I have a friend, Mary Jane. She's a reporter. She's doing a story on art imports, and she found this piece. Well, she wanted an expert opinion on it, and I know you have a degree.
And this might be the first time I actually get to use it. Let's see what you have. Interesting. Where'd she find it?
I'm really not sure. Why, what is it?
A replica of an antique Chinese opera mask. I haven't seen one in years. This symbol here roughly translates to demon.
Demon?
Well, my father read me ghost stories with that mask and symbol in it when I was young. Scared the hell out of me. Peter, listen. That mask, it could be connected to dangerous people. Mary Jane might want to find a different story.
Do you think she's in trouble?
I don't know. Why take the risk?
Hey,
The symbol inside the mask means demon. It really spooked Mr. Lee. Never seen him like that. He even said you should drop the story.
fat chance. Do you think Mr. Lee knows more than he's letting on?
No, I think he just had a weird flashback or something. I know his childhood was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, makes sense. Demons, huh? Catchy name. Okay, gotta get writing. See you soon.
Well, that went about as well as I could have hoped.
So, like, the reason why I don't like MJ in almost every single iteration of Spider-Man is she's always, like, half on, half off with Peter. And I understand that Peter goes away often. He has, like, the superhero thing. He has a job. But it's, I don't know, it's...
Got some time to kill before Doc needs me at the lab. Let's do a little Spidey workout in the city.
Even if I didn't know that he was Spider-Man, right? If a guy's got a job, or it doesn't really matter if it's a guy or a girl, it just doesn't matter. If someone's got a job, they're getting called away pretty often for that job, and they're bringing in bread to keep themselves alive, well, you can't really fault them for that, can you? Him, her, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't fault them for that. Sure, it's important to make time for a relationship, yes. But how much of that person do you need to see in order to know whether or not you want to be with them? I mean, I think their relationship lasted years on and off.
Peter, Mr. Lee spoke to me. He seemed worried.
Canonically.
Something dangerous.
Oh, it's just a story Mary Jane's investigating. Don't worry, I'll make sure she's careful.
Please tell me you two are back together.
We're talking again. Baby steps. I hope I didn't upset Mr. Lee.
He's just concerned. I was actually touched by how concerned. I knew he liked you. He admires how dedicated you are to helping others. I think you remind him of himself when he was younger. Both orphans, both so smart.
Well, the admiration's mutual. You got a good boss, May.
I'll tell him you said so. Love you, Peter.
The problem I have with Mary Jane is maybe it's the way that she's characterized in the movies. But as far as I know, they date on and off. Oh, Jesus.
Hello?
Peter, it's Dr. Octavius.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Lance Corporal Texador is here for a fitting.
I totally forgot. I didn't forget. I'll be there soon.
This tardiness is starting to become a pattern. Come on, Parker. You're better than this.
He's right. How did I lose track of time?
I don't know. She seems to be like the clingy girlfriend that always wants somebody else for themselves. And that's just the way that she's characterized to me. That's the way I take it. If you got something that's that important to do, that you need to, like, you have a dinner date or whatever with somebody you've been with for like 2 years, 3 years, at that point, they either should have cut it off a long time ago, or there have to be understanding on the other end. Because he's a scientist on top of being Spider-Man. And like I said, even if he's not Spider-Man, he's trying to benefit humanity with his science knowledge. That's... And pretty much every single iteration of Spider-Man, that's been the thing. I just don't understand it. Maybe I don't understand relationships too well. I just don't understand. Maybe it's a more classic representation of a relationship, and because it hasn't that type of relationship hasn't happened to me, I don't understand it. I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense. If you got a person that's potentially going to be your partner for life, and they're constantly leaving for their job, and their job is something very honorable, like to the point where the inventions that he makes or the things that they do could save lives. Who are you to stop them from doing that? That's ridiculous. That's just the way I'm thinking. everybody has to make sacrifices in a relationship. You kind of know that going in the like the couple weeks you're together. You kind of figure out what baggage or what things you're gonna have to deal with this other person. You make the decision right then and there whether or not you want to deal with it. That's my take. So I just don't understand MJ. I don't understand her character. It just doesn't make sense to me. She's supposed to be this conflicted girlfriend that loves Peter and at the same time doesn't want to deal with the fact that he always gets pulled away. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Or like she doesn't want to deal with the fact that he's fighting crime constantly and he could die at any time. Okay, let's say he does pass. He passed doing something, whether it be science or being Spider-Man. He passed doing something that is probably one of the best things you could do in life, saving people. What's so wrong with that? It's better than just withering away, sitting in a chair watching TV. It's better than a lot of other things you could do with your life. So I just don't understand the Mary Jane character. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe it's because how I think, or how I think relationships, like my relationships have gone, but it just doesn't. It doesn't speak to me at all. It's not very down to earth to me. But the constant is that she's always characterized like that, and that's my problem. And it doesn't matter if the Mary Jane character is a male or female. It just doesn't matter. It's just always characterized like that. Oh.
How does it work? Just like a natural arm. You think of what you want it to do, and...
Yes. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
This site's been declared a safety hazard.
Stop that right now! This is highly sensitive equipment. That's it. I'm calling the mayor's office directly.
Peter Parker, how the hell are you?
Speak of the devil.
Mr. Osborn.
Oh, please. How long have we known each other? It's Mr. Mayor. It's Norman.
Norman, what do you think you're doing?
The grant agreement you signed has strict safety provisions. This isn't your first violation.
Those were excused.
By me. We should have confiscated this equipment long ago.
But I've had a breakthrough.
Thank you for your great service to our country. These folks will escort you to Oscorp Robotics, where you'll receive the latest in prosthetics. No charge.
This isn't about safety infractions, is it?
I'm trying to help you, Otto. You're free to continue your work in a secure environment.
At Oscorp.
You always were the smartest guy in the room.
You haven't changed a bit.
Neither of you. Hey, Peter. Harry will be coming back from Europe early next year. Maybe the two of you can start that business you always talked about. This is opportunity knocking.
Easy. They didn't take everything. Maybe we could start over.
Peter, there's no we. Without the grant from the city, I can no longer pay you. I need some time to think. If I were you, I'd look for a new job.
Man, that's bummer.
Wish I could do something to help Doc. Maybe call Harry. Ask him to talk to his dad. No. Norman never listens to Harry. Even tried to kill funding for his research stations. Hey, one of those stations is nearby. Should see how they're doing while Harry's in Europe. Must be some way to help Doc. I'll think of something.
That sucks. 'Cause Osborn has every reason to shut him down, it sounds like.
Attention units. We've just received a report of a break-in. Officers needed on scene in Roseville.
Are they here? No, they're underneath. But it sounds like Osborn has every reason, like every business reason, to shut him down. Come on.
Lost him. Move faster next time.
What are you talking? They split up too fast. One went the opposite way. That's too bad. I'll find him next time. Yeah, he has every business reason to shut him down because he's basically a competitor. Because he's got his own robotics division, and this guy is coming out with like patent pending technology so that people can just move arms without having any other sort of, I don't know, any other sort of thing. But they're not basic prosthetics. They're not just a cast or a normal arm with a string. Like, you can move and manipulate all your fingers and everything else. It's
All units 1030. Armed robbery in progress.
the kind of thing bioengineers and robotics engineers dream of. And he's doing it, and that's a threat to Osborn's business, who is also the mayor, so he can kind of do anything he wants. Within legal reason, he can do almost anything he wants. He just got to set the precedent for it. So that's tough. Like that kind of story stuff. That's amazing. That's like well thought out. It's good. But like MJ, man, it's like the story weak point for me. That's why I complain about it.
Good old-fashioned hold-up.
Out of all the things to be upset about, that's what you're upset about? It's just, ugh. Health increase. Skill point. Alright. Damn, it's, I've already spent more than an hour. I gotta go. Charge jump? Oh, that's cool. I'm getting that. I should probably be getting some of these other things too. I'll definitely be playing more of this today. I gotta go. I gotta go to an appointment with a person because well, just as I was talking about relationships. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see more. I'm not too far into this game. Buy it if you're interested, or if you can run it on your computer. I want other people to play this game if they're interested in it, because it is a very good game. It's sort of basic, to be honest, but all the mechanics are done very well. It's very solid. Now that I've gotten accustomed to the way the controls work in this game, it's definitely a lot better than I was initially thinking the movement controls were. So yeah, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit like, dislike, let me know if you like the video, if you don't, what I can do to fix it, whatever the case may be. The next game I should play, that sort of thing. Talk to each other, have fun, be courteous, and just in general, have a good night, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.